Ladies and gentlemen, the Hive is live. Bring your vision. This is how we build 1,000,000 cups.
Good morning, everyone. I feel that was a good accomplishment. I made it up to the stage. That's really... Oh, thank you for being here. If you see me gimping around, I am awaiting back surgery, but I am so dedicated I could not stay home, so I am literally here no matter what. So you're important. You're important. Yeah, I thought about it, and I just can't not be here. And I just always appreciate Trevor and the space and all of you showing up. So no matter what, as long as I can make it up those stairs, I will be here until the end. Anyway, we have two presenters today, and if you're new to the 1MC, I'll give you some information on that, and just please scan the QR code. If you have challenges with the QR code, please let me know. They're going through some changes, but this just signs you into 1MC, and they're tracking the number of people in the space. So anything you do like that supports our 1MC, and headquarters recognizes it, and so it's really good. And sometimes you get swag, but you have to remind us if you get swag, because we always forget. Yeah, okay, yeah, so you just have to remind me. And then just thanking our hosts. Event Nanny is just in the backspace, care for the littles. There she is, Becky. Phenomenal. If you haven't checked it out, go in the back. Trevor, incredible partner, allows us to use the space and hosts the 1MC and backs us up with everything and records. And there is a YouTube channel, and then he's built a fabulous website. If you go on and check it out, it's got like everything about the Hive and what we're doing, so it's impressive. So if you ever want to know what's going on, check out the website. Trev can share that. And then thank you to the Lonely Pine for their coffee and support. It really takes a community to make the 1MC happen. Like, we may be behind the scenes, but it's really, truly takes all of you. And then the bathrooms are down the hall, if you go that way and to the right. And then the 1MC is a space, and Tyler was asking me about that. It's a space for entrepreneurs to take the stage and share about their business, their hardships or barriers, or where they're going or where they want to scale. And it gives them a chance to be in a space where they're super supported. And then we ask questions and we offer feedback. So the whole goal is, it's about the entrepreneur. Like, what can we do? When we ask a question, what can we as a community do for you? We really mean it. And there's a lot of resources typically in the room. So please think of some good questions or something that you feel like maybe would help each of the entrepreneurs that present. So they get 6 minutes, and we'll probably do about 15-minute Q&A. And then Trevor will let us know. We take a break, and then the next one. That's kind of how it rolls out. And then if you have any questions, you can always ask myself or Trevor in the room. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Emily to the stage. Yeah. With an outfit specially designed today with her presentation and Soul Revolution. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you so much. There we go. Hi. Let me get set up here real quick. Everything shut down while I was waiting. Can you throw my screen on, Trev? Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily, and I own and operate Soul Revolution in Grants Pass. We're a solar-powered organic permaculture farm, and I'm excited to share my story and my business with you today. And I firstly want to extend my gratitude to this wonderful group of humans. I've been coming here for a little while, and it really fills my cup every week. And Kim and Trevor, thank you. Most of us, especially entrepreneurs, go through at least one quarter-life crisis. Mine have been recurring. My first one happened after leaving Los Angeles, where I'd lived for 12 years. I moved there in 2001 and grew up into adulthood, exploring creative arts, business, and honestly believing I might be the next Mariah Carey, the singing hairstylist. I was having a great time. Fast forward to 2012, my best childhood friend asked me multiple times to help her run a new family business in Florida. And I said no a few times, but eventually I thought, what do I have to lose? If I don't leave LA now, I might not ever leave. So I drove across the country, and I gave it everything I had. and it didn't work out. 6 months later, I made my second drive across the country to my mom's house here in Grants Pass. I was 27 years old, living at home with mom, and very aware that I was at a crossroads. After more than a decade of working across multiple industries, business management, accounting, jewelry and metalsmithing, singing, all while carrying a childhood deeply rooted in nature and ecology, I had to take a pause. I'm a deeply introspective person, so I asked myself 3 questions to find my footing again. What do I need to feel safe? What do I need to feel fulfilled? And how do I live in line with my truest self? For safety, I needed 3 things: food, shelter, and income, specifically to support my life-dependent medication. For fulfillment, the answer was clear. I needed to bring it all together: the ecology, the business experience, and the creative energy. I needed to combine everything I'd been. Originally, I had planned a small bed and breakfast, farm-to-table meals, living simply, being the hostess with the mostess. And then I thought, why am I thinking small? What if I built something deeper, something that truly aligns with who I am? And I thought about a retreat center. And that's when Soul was first born, on paper, in 2012. And at that time, agri and ecotourism wasn't really a huge market here in this Grants Pass area. There were some places I knew of in Sedona and in Northern California, but hadn't hit its stride here yet. Over the next decade, I learned everything I could about off-grid energy, machine and tool repair, farming systems, community building. I chased some big, unrealistic dreams along the way, like 150 acres of river-adjacent property. I got an associate's degree in industrial welding. I moved a lot. I built gardens and small farms everywhere I lived. And I founded a nonprofit focused on reducing food waste. I met lifelong friends and champions along the way. What I didn't get was the land, not yet. In 2021, I realized my dream might take longer, or look different. So I moved to Southern Illinois to build equity and launched my first CSA program out of my backyard farm, and I found my stride in my 30s. Then life intervened. My mom's husband died tragically, and everything shifted. So in 2024, I packed up again and made my 4th cross-country drive back to Grants Pass at my mom's house. I didn't return with 150 acres. I returned with 1 acre. 1 acre, zoned farm exclusive, a field, and the gift of being with my mom as she ages. Well, when I arrived back in Grants Pass in April 2024, I immediately shifted my business plan and focused on small-scale farming and events. Then I started designing. That empty field is now home to 20 fruit trees, hundreds of bulbs, perennial and edible flowers, and dozens of perennial vegetables and herbs, and raised beds for annuals and specialty crops. My CSA is entering its 3rd season. Members receive fresh seasonal produce, organically, locally produced, directly from my farm, and we're still accepting members. Everything grown here is soul. Sustainable, organic, and local. That's not just a tagline, it's the operating principle. This year, I landed my first anchor wholesale customer, the Black Barn, a restaurant in Jacksonville. They've committed to purchasing all my produce this season. This partnership is a game changer for me. It gives the farm a stable, somewhat predictable income, and it's a direct farm-to-table relationship with a local business that shares our values. Every seed I plant has a home. It's the kind of relationship and that validates everything: the years of learning, the cross-country drives, the 1 acre of belief. Well, I want to be transparent because 1MC is about real entrepreneurship, not just the highlight reel. I am a single woman running this farm on my own, and I live with some invisible disabilities, including type 1 diabetes and fibromyalgia. These aren't footnotes. They're part of my daily operating reality. Farming is physically demanding, and some days my body has a very different plan than my to-do list. Building a business that is sustainable for me personally, not just environmentally, is one of my most important design challenges. My biggest infrastructure need right now is a barn remodel to scale up and produce to scale up production and fulfill wholesale orders, I need a functional space to clean, process, and pack the produce. Beyond fresh produce, I want to build out my value-added line, dried herbs, jams, canned goods, pickles, all the good stuff. And that's going to help diversify the income for the business. The barn is the bottleneck, and the funding for the remodel is an active challenge. And part of Soul's full vision, the events, the retreats, the supper clubs, and workshops, it's still in waiting. Right now, I'm held up by the cost of permitting, required engineering studies, land use consulting fees, and then, of course, the county approval. That permit is what unlocks those income streams. In the meantime, I'm building the farm, I'm building community, and I'm building the case so that when the time comes to open its doors, Soul Revolution can hit the ground running. As I said, SOUL stands for Sustainable Organic Local. This isn't just about farming. It's about building a life that aligns safety, fulfillment, and purpose, 1 acre at a time. If any of this resonates with you, if you're a potential CSA member, a restaurant or market buyer, someone who knows funding or grant resources, a volunteer or apprentice ready to get your hands in the soil, or just someone who believes in what I'm doing and what we're building here. And if you'd like to team up, I would love to connect. This revolution didn't happen overnight. It took decades, detours, and 4 cross-country drives. But it finally brought me home. Thank you. Now, I have some photos that I'd love to share with you. This is what I started with. An empty field with a ton of weeds and grass that sucks. And so this is where it all began. A little overhead view, a little bit more of the sheet mulching and the landscaping design that I implemented. The trees that you're seeing in the back there is my neighbor's hazelnut farm, so it's a lovely backdrop to my own farm. This is the barn that needs a lot of help. It's just storage right now for all my tools. And this is a project we worked on the last season and finished this season. It's called Potager Place. It's my kitchen garden in the raised beds. I had a workshop day with my friends who came down from Bend and with their little girls, and we all had a really fun time fixing it up and finishing it up. So this is all more work in progress pictures, having some fun, being weird. And this is the final section that we've finished now, and it's really come together. It's a lovely place to spend time among the plants and the bees and just to enjoy the space. It's definitely part of the vision, of course, with the events is to have space that's very comfortable and beautiful and really just unique space. Some of me out in the field. If you can see in the picture in the top left, that's our 30-panel solar array that we operate with. Some spring blooms, perennial flowers. And all of these close-up shots were taken by my friend's 7-year-old daughter. Aren't they great? She's such a budding artist. And this is our first Taste the Farm event at the Black Barn in Jacksonville that just happened on the first Friday. So we brought artichokes, perennial flowers, fresh herbs, and we had a really wonderful time meeting the community down there. It was great. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much.
Hi, I love what you're doing. My husband and I also have an organic vegetable farm. But as far as resources, I'm assuming you've heard of like Woof.
Woofing, yes.
Yeah.
I am anticipating having woofers.
Okay,
for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, we've been blessed with that. And then the other one is I was Googling it because I'm not 100% sure, but there's like an Oregon or Rogue Farm Corps where you can partner up and do like have them come out and do like lessons and get help and things like that, and help varies. So those were just 2 things that kind of popped into my head in terms of.
That's awesome. Rogue Farm Corps. I'll have to remember that. Thank you so much.
How you doing today?
Hey, Jerry.
The barn is your biggest bottleneck at the barn and the Josephine County and the permits and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Can you work on the barn before you get the permits?
No.
Wow. Don't you love government? Do you know somebody who knows somebody?
Yes, but it's not helping. The planning division knows me by name. I'm in there all the time, okay? So it's not like I haven't tried to get things going and do the right thing starting from the beginning. And I've been advised too, like, do what you need to do and then ask for forgiveness later. But that's not how I operate. I want to be above board with everything. This is my type A personality. I've been running other people's businesses for a very long time and seen how businesses fail. That is not what's happening here. There's a good foundation. The right steps are being taken. It's just taking time, and I'm lacking funding for a lot of what I need to do.
So what if they just worked on the structure of the barn and kind of worked on things that might in the future sort of be helpful that would need a permit? I don't think you need a permit to build walls or reinforce or do stuff up to a limit.
We could talk about all of that. I do have a plan. I have contractors that have provided bids, so it's really just a matter of doing it the right way the first time and not doing steps that I'm going to have redone at the end.
Okay.
I don't like doing that.
You're going to do great.
Thank you so much. Oh, the question up here was, how much is the CSA membership? It breaks down to, if you do the 12-week program, it's $25 a week basically, but you pay $300 for all 12 weeks up front. And then you get a good variety throughout the season. It changes week to week, and you can pick up right at my farm.
So what is your property zoned at? I missed that.
We're zoned exclusive farm use.
Farm use. And so with the county and the permits, is it because you're taking an existing barn and you're going to have to get an architect draw the plans out for it? Or are you trying to bring in electrical to it? What is changing and holding up the permit?
So the permit I'm applying for is my agritourism permit. I can operate the farm without that, which I'm doing actively right now. But in order to submit the final permit application for the agritourism side of the business, I need to have these specific elements in that application packet for the planning side of things. Once the planning permit has been approved, then it goes to building for approval, and that's when I can start the actual remodel of the barn. So right now I've been working with a wonderful land use consultant down in Medford. She's wonderful. I met her through another, the Elevated Business Women's Networking Group. And if anyone needs a land consultant, she's great. But I also, because we're in a 100% flood zone, need an engineering no-rise study. It's very pricey. And people are booked out like 6 months in advance to come and do that study. So it's just taking time. I'm not feeling rushed. I feel like the cards are falling into place because I'm building the right steps towards the end goal. But it's just frustrating because I wanted to bring that to everybody this year, but it looks like spring next year is when we're going to start having our first events and things like that. I can start that without the barn being remodeled. Just have to have the permit that says I can remodel the barn at some time in the future for this business purpose. Otherwise, I have to do another addendum application for the business permit. And that's, like I said, I don't like to repeat things twice.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
You mentioned that Black Market had committed to purchasing all of your produce this year. Does that mean you can't take on any additional clients this year?
So when I got the call from Black Barn to provide produce to their restaurant, they said, grow whatever you can for us and we'll buy it. So I dedicated a specific row, which I cleverly named Restaurant Row, and I'm building that part of the farm out just for their produce. So I still have produce available for my CSA customers, for my own personal consumption, things like that. So yeah, I do have room to add more, although this time of the year, it's a little late to add to my planning for, seedlings and transplants and things like that, but there's still some end of the year fall items I can probably put together for another wholesale customer if anybody comes around.
And is that like exclusive to restaurants, or could that be pop-up like food events or food trucks?
Absolutely. Anybody who makes food can buy my produce. So if you have a food business and you'd like to source your food from my farm, I'd be happy to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, firstly, on everything you've been able to accomplish so far. Like,
Thank
super
you.
exciting. But I'm curious. It seems like you'd be an awesome candidate for like grants to help fund this. Have you looked into that at all?
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
I kind of screwed myself over because I started this farm with my own money. And they do a lot of grants for new farmers. Since I'm technically in my third year of farming, I'm disqualified from many of those grant opportunities. I totally screwed myself. But you don't know till you know, so now we know. But I am actively working on other grants that I do qualify for. I have a whole command center that lets me know when to apply, how to apply. It's great.
What kind of things would we see in the CSA boxes? And then when do people pick up? Is there a dedicated day or is it flexible?
It is flexible, and I try to stagger pickups so that not everybody comes on a Monday because availability of the cycles of what's ready, it works better that way. But if you like a Monday and somebody else likes a Wednesday and someone else likes a Saturday, that's perfect. And if you can't pick up 1 week, there are options as well for you to donate your box or to have a friend pick up your box, or we can work something out. In a typical box, let's say this week there would be fresh dill, artichokes, some sea kale, which is a perennial kale, delicious, not like your regular super green, wrinkly kale from the store. Some edible flowers or a flower bouquet as well. And then I also have some neighbors that make amazing bread and have eggs, so I partner with them as well for the CSA boxes. Yeah, so it's a nice variety. This is so fun. Thank you so much. I've been anxiously awaiting this day, so thank you so much for everyone who came right now.
Hello.
Hi.
We talked last week.
We did.
Yeah. Have you looked into the Amber Grant for female-run businesses? It's a great one. I applied, didn't get it unfortunately, but you only have to apply one time. Every single month they give away 3 grants for $10,000 each for all female-run, any kind of female-run business. And then once you apply for that one, you become eligible for all the other grants that they do throughout the year. And then if you get the monthly one, you become eligible for the one at the end of the year for $50,000.
Wow.
They do that every month. So
Amber,
it's a really,
Amber Grant.
Amber Grant.
I'm going to look that up. Thank you so much.
It's a really good one.
Awesome.
If there are no other questions, I'll finish with the last question, which you may not already answered, but what can we as a community do for you?
Well, I did have it at the end of my speech, if you'd like to get involved or partner some way or know people, and you've all been a wonderful resource for me here today with some of your recommendations, so thank you so much. I do have an immediate need for like a refrigerator and a freezer so I can store my produce when I'm not making deliveries or waiting for people for pickups. So also, a stainless steel prep table would be great. So if you know anyone in a restaurant who doesn't use one, let me know. But that's about it, I think. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, our newest member of the Orange Mug Club. Congratulations. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for being here and bringing your energy for everyone every week. You've been a mainstay for quite a while since you got to, or shortly after you got to town last year, I think you started coming, right?
I don't remember because I have a terrible memory. That's why I have to write everything down and take notes. But I've been coming for some time, about 6 months, I'd say. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the goldfish memory is good for entrepreneurship. It helps to forget some of those months. But anyways, congratulations. Hope that you're able to continue to plow forward, if you will.
Ooh, I love a good pun. Also, I forgot to put my socials up, but please, if you'd like to be a friend on Facebook, Instagram, or join my email list on my website, please do. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Trevor.
much. We do have another presentation coming up. Brooke is going to be presenting to us here shortly. Do not go anywhere other than back to get more coffee. slap a high five, give a hug to somebody, say hello. It'll be just a moment, and then we'll be ready to go for our second presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hive is live. Bring your vision. This is how we build. 1 million cups.
Let's go! Yeah. Get it. Get it. Yeah. Yeah. And no, I'm not going to rap for you. All right, come on back. Come on back. Perfect. All right. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready to start our second presentation. Thought we'd bring the energy again, get the room back in and ready for Brooke. So without further ado, I'd love to bring up Brooke Davis with Elysian Women's Wellness.
Good morning, everyone. I am excited to be here. I have lived in the Valley for a while, but my name is Brooke Davis. I'm a women's functional health practitioner. I own Elysian Women's Wellness. We are a fully virtual health coaching and wellness company. We specialize in sustainable root cause approach to weight loss resistance for women in midlife. And I'm going to share just a little about my story to start. So I grew up, I was a 3-sport athlete. I played D2 college soccer. I was always basically trying to keep up with my brother who was really athletic. So that was kind of the beginning of my introduction to health. My mom was a single mom. She worked night shifts and she was pretty unhealthy. And I realized early on that I didn't want that to be me. And so ultimately I went to school for what I thought maybe would be like physical therapy or something like that. And it kind of changed when I started personal training. I got my training certification. I was 19 as a side job. And that was when my first baby, B. Davis Training, was born, and that was 2013 officially. And with that, I started doing CrossFit. I wanted competition after high school or athletics, and so I then fell into bodybuilding, and I did 4 competitions over 3 years. I ended up at nationals. I placed 9th out of 56, which was exciting, but my body did not love that. After that last competition, I lost my cycle for about 9 months, and I gained about 40 pounds in just over 2 months after that, and I could not lose it. Doing everything that I thought I needed to do. I thought I was the picture of health initially, and my body took a quick turn. And that was really frustrating because, again, following what I thought was a conventional approach of cutting calories, tracking macros, training harder, my body didn't respond. And it wasn't really until it took me a couple of years, but I was working at chiropractic rehab at the time as a specialist in there. I kind of switched gears and I started training for performance. I started eating to fuel my body and nourish what I was doing. And I realized that ultimately I didn't just want to be lean, I wanted to feel good. And at the time I was exhausted. I could barely make it through the day without a nap. I had brain fog. I was irritable. And that obviously wasn't how I wanted to live my life. And ultimately, I wanted to get pregnant, and I knew you needed the right hormones to do that. And so that shift was kind of the start of a big transition for me. And that led me to recognizing this kind of thing in my clients. My 20-year-old clients would come and they would stop drinking alcohol, eat some more protein, they'd lean out, be good. But my ladies who are a little bit older, 30 plus, it would take them not only longer, but a lot of times, it was much more difficult to get the results they wanted. And in addition to that, they were complaining to me about their doctors and how, they would tell them that everything was fine, but they didn't feel fine. And now, knowing what I know, there's a huge gap in care for women. And that was something that I really wanted to fill. Doctors all across the country at this point in conventional care, I hear this all the time, will tell women, who are experiencing weight loss resistance, fatigue, gut issues, they tell them it's just normal, you're getting older, your labs look fine. They're essentially, being told they're crazy, they feel crazy, and that is a big issue to me. So about 3 years ago, in between kiddos, I got the motivation to go back to training and become a functional practitioner. And this is when my current business was born, and this is Elysian Women's Wellness. And The Elysian Fields was the Greek heaven where warriors go after battle, and it's a place of rest, renewal, becoming, and I thought there was no better fitting name for women going through this season of life than this. So this is how I am working to fill that gap. We do functional labs, blood work, peptides, HRT. I've partnered with a medical wellness company to do all that I can outside of being a licensed medical provider, essentially. But alongside everything that we do is the support piece, because that is the real piece that is missing in healthcare, personal training, that filling that gap. You might go to a functional practitioner and get handed a protocol of some kind. Maybe they do the labs. You get handed a protocol and you're expected to execute it on your own, again, based on a generic protocol. And that doesn't work for most people. I have so many women coming to me who have tried that route and they still don't have the results that they want. And so we have combined, again, the structure and support with the data. So we start with getting what we call the hidden data. There's 6 main systems in the body that control health, wellness, and fat loss. That is, we call it the hidden data, and that's hormones, immune system, digestion, detoxification, energy, and nervous systems. And within that, we provide, again, an individualized plan based on that data, and we have the support to go with it. So we use a custom app where all of your plans, your habits, your step-by-step process, along with support from a community and myself and another coach, you have access to all of that. And then, if necessary, connection with that medical provider for additional services. And ultimately, most women come to us with the goal of fat loss, but our transformations are so much more than that. Again, we shift this from a purely aesthetic, a lot of times, goal to a functional one, and supporting that from a root cause. So women come to us and they end up, yes, weighing 30 pounds less, but also stronger than they've ever been, with more energy. They're able to live their lives better than they ever have. They're able to keep up with their kids. I've, women who are kayaking at 60 years old, thinking that was never something they were going to be able to do again, and getting job promotions, coming off medications, really, removing the risk of chronic diseases. That is ultimately our goal, with an all-encompassing approach. So my kind of big dream is to have more partnerships with other providers. I've gotten a couple in the Valley, and it's been a little bit limited, but that's kind of my, like I said, vision for the company, is to partner with places like chiropractic, med spas, acupuncturists, other functional providers, other licensed medical providers, because again, we're not overriding what they do. We love working with them to provide the holistic package of care. And ultimately, that is kind of my big picture. We do like mini retreats for our clients, so that is like, I would love to expand into doing more things like that with travel, but that's like my pipe dream. But this is really what I'm looking for from our community, and building from there.
So what does it look like for a new client to join your business? What does that intake look like?
Yeah, so the first thing we do is get all of your data. Obviously, we have to figure out where you're at. So we have an onboarding call, we have an assessment call, and then from there, we go through labs. So we're taking either existing labs, getting whatever labs you're needing based on what you've told us. And then we build out your protocol from there. And initially for our full, we have different levels of support depending on what you need, but for our full coaching transformation, essentially for the first 6 weeks, you get a call every 2 weeks, but we're checking in weekly. You have 24 24/7 messenger access through our app, our community calls, we have open office hours, we have training educations, things like that. So that's kind of what the initial starting point looks like.
And is that like a sleep plan or like a diet plan, or like what does that look like?
It depends on what you need. So, one of the things I said was that conventional providers, even functional providers, they just throw this massive, this list at you of things to do. And our goal is to make it digestible. So we phase out protocols based on, again, what your primary needs are, what your biggest symptoms are, again, initially trying to provide, the most relief possible. In a holistic way. And so it depends on what your main issue is as to what our focus will be initially. But of course we have foundations. So, diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction. And those are kind of the pillars. But again, what we focus on depends on the individual coming to us. But eventually we include it all and based on what you need.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. Do you work with any insurance programs, or do any insurance programs work with you?
No.
No. Are you interested in doing that?
Because I'm not a licensed provider, I don't know that's possible. We do take HSA and FSA payments, so that's about as close as we could get.
So I was wondering about Care Credit. Would Care Credit apply? Do you think?
I believe that's something I would have to apply for.
Oh.
So it may be possible to get on a program like that, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a note of that. Thank you. What's that? I have that. Affirm won't take any more coaching. They're done. They actually took everybody off coaching, but Klarna, I do accept Klarna, which is a financing option.
Is pricing available on your website? Do you have a starting price that you could share with us for a program, that would be like the base, and then any other information about that you can share so we know what we're getting into?
Yeah. Pricing honestly varies from, our lowest package is $125 up to $700 a month, depending on, again, the medical wellness side of things, your labs, et cetera. So there's a really wide variety of, again, support options and, payment plans, things like that. Oh.
Hi, Brittany. I just wanted to say thank you so much for this. One, y'all, every time I get on the mic, I'm always going to ask for forgiveness first because I'm always extremely nervous. Like even before I actually started talking, I could feel my heart going just like this. Woo. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of this. I definitely want to chat with you maybe later or connect with you. I actually remember last week I had spoke with you and I meant to get with you and I forgot. And so I just feel like it's perfect timing that you were actually speaking this week, and it just kind of reminded me like, gosh, I gotta talk to her. One of the things that you said I really wanted to touch base on is how there's a lot of things that go on within the women's body that there's just not enough. One, it's not talked about enough, and I've kind of been trying to work on something on the side to like bring more awareness to different things that women struggle with. So I just really appreciate all of this, and I can't wait to chat with you more.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'd love to talk with you more about what you're trying to build over there.
Hey, Brooke, it's Terry. So you mentioned one of your pain points is connecting with other type of practitioners or providers. What have you done, and do you have a vision for that, or what? I mean, I have some ideas, but what have you done? What isn't working, or what is working for you on that?
Yeah, so as of now, I've connected just with med spas. I've met a couple of owners, and they had dreams of making a holistic package, but it's never really turned into anything. And that's their business model. There's not really anything I could do about that. So, but as far as vision, I mean, again, just whatever care is being provided, us being a supplement to that, to carry out the plan. Because again, the reality is that most people are handed, even with like, I'm gonna go GLP-1s or things like that, right? There's so much behind the success, the permanent success of that plan, being carried out. And they don't have that with a weekly appointment even. And so we have, daily touch points. We have a ton of data from, food diaries, their exercise log, everything else. And that is, again, the gaps that we fill even even inside of what conventional, care is providing, or even functional care providers. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think what I'd like to get with you, maybe one-on-one, maybe to have a targeted, like if you're the center, the spoke, whatever, that you want to have a physician, you want to have like a licensed massage therapist, you want to have maybe an acupuncturist, and then take those hubs, brainstorm with them, maybe come up with some sort of a meeting with them, or an invite, or an informal coffee meeting or something where you can introduce yourself to them, see if something could happen. But I'd be happy to help you brainstorm on some of that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love that. I mean, I have multiple option, like massage therapists for that kind of thing. So it's largely people who have like an established practice that feel like their patients need deeper, more again, holistic care.
We're gonna let Christina ask a question, one more question, and then I love it if Brooke, if you're around, if people want to, sounds like they want to connect with you when you get done, that would be fantastic. So go ahead, Christina.
Two things. One, are you all remote, or do you have an office?
Yeah, we're fully virtual.
Okay, and then how do you, for labs and stuff, do you give them a recommendation to take to their doctor, or how do those labs get ordered?
So either or, we can either support you if you have a medical doctor who's cooperative and wants to facilitate that, then we have all the resources to help you even have the conversation of getting your labs, because sometimes that can be difficult, or we can order them ourselves, and you can go to Medford and get your blood drawn and go from there and get the data that we need. A lot of our functional labs are at-home labs, so that makes it easy, but like I said, others are blood draws that you can go and make an appointment in Medford.
All right, awesome. Last question for you, Brooke. What can we as a community do for you? Is there anything you'd like to add?
I think I covered it. Like I said, if you know any practitioners, I'm going to have a couple on my list to reach out to, but practitioners that are, in the functional space or not, that want to provide better care to their patients, clients, that's my need right now.
We give Brooke a hand. Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you. Volume.
And shout out to the event nanny back there who took my kids after my husband decided he was going out of town today.
Big high five, Brooke. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. With all the entrepreneurship we have in the health and wellness and healthy food sources spaces, I feel like we're going to hopefully become a more healthy region, right? We have so much, and that's one of the things that I just think is amazing about this, is being exposed to all the work that is being done in the different sectors. So thank you all for being here. And I did want to bring up real quick, Dan Buck with Visit Grants Pass. Got a quick little announcement for you. I said Dan Buck with Visit Grants Pass.
Oh, hello. I'm Dan with Visit Grants Pass. Good to see you. I was up here about a year ago, and I had just started in this role, running Visit Grants Pass with my colleague, Griffin, who probably most of you know and have worked with at one time or another. This community has been really awesome in the past year, and it's been about how